Hi there, Physics 30 student. I'm just going to explain to you the last topic here in the course, Unit D, Lesson 2, Chapter 16 and 17. So let's share the screen and see what the topics we have in hand here. First things first, let's go to what you will be learning. You're going to have to write nuclear equations for alpha, beta negative, and beta positive decays. So one is gamma and one is a neutron, just giving you a heads up, just written differently. Perform half-life calculations. And I'll talk about more of that later on in the course, of course. Use conservation of laws to predict the particles emitted by a nucleus. Relate the mass defect of the nucleus of the energy released in nuclear reactions. This is where Einstein's famous E equals mc squared will take into place. And compare and contrast the elementary particles and their antiparticles. You're going to see that in the last chapter, chapter 17. Fission and fusion reactions, right at the end of chapter 16, you'll see this one. Explain the discovery and identification of subatomic particles. Explain also why high energy particle accelerators are required to actually discover how particles work. Describe the nature and properties of nuclear radiation, the modern model of the proton and neutron, and describe beta decay. With all that help, you'll find that the textbooks are right here. It's in a folder because 2 chapters are recorded in this case. Additional resources are going to help you to get that done. Half-Life Gizmo is going to be helping you to understand how carbon dating works and so forth. And Unit D Lesson 2 assignment. Of course, will open up once you do the additional resources, just a video of me explaining how the first topic is going to be all about in chapter 16.1. Then there's a Unit D feedback and a course survey in the end. So with that in a nutshell, let's just go to the following and explain a little bit what the topic's going to be about. So the beauty of how we have the whole fact of carbon dating, going back to fossils and so forth. This is where decaying does occur in particles and so forth. And this helps us, especially for isotopes and so forth. And we can actually see fossils. That's the beauty of that. Nuclear fission and fusion would be considered in this topic. Keep in mind, fusion, there's a U in it, so it unites, comes together, and fission breaks apart. So I, like individual, that's how I like to remember, breaks apart. And usually neutrons are always be the one that gets shot at a bigger element and it breaks into different parts. As nuclear fusion, in that case, comes together, so you become a bigger part. Next bit I wanted to talk about is some science that deals with the surgical therapy. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, surgical therapy, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy, when someone is gets cancer or so forth, and any other form of treatment that needs to be done, there is 3 different kinds. But the one that I wanted to focus on is radiotherapy because this is where the help of science actually takes in place, where there's gamma rays actually being used to actually help in getting rid of the disease that's irritated. So there's also surgically way and chemotherapy way. So chemotherapy is used with medication. Surgical therapy is when they actually use a scalp and open up the area where it's needed, and it actually takes it away. So radiotherapy a little bit different, where it uses this kind of uh, laser, which is uh, basically beamed on the area where it's at in pain and actually gets cured. And there's also other ones that you'll be learning is the PET scan, which looks like the following. And this is basically a device where your body goes inside and then it scans your head, especially. And in there, this is where it basically stands for positron emission tomography. And this is basically where the doctor basically checks for diseases in your body. And this is one way to do that. And it uses a lot of magnetic field close to it. And with that, in fact, all of these is something that you have to consider, especially when you are in pain and so forth. So this helps, especially doctors, to see why is there pain through a patient of theirs and so forth. And let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, I'm hoping that with this technology that's available for us, from a PET scan to chemotherapy, through radiotherapy and surgical therapy, we always get healed that needs to be done for us. and let us always get the skills that we need to understand these technologies and science that has this beauty of it, physics that is, and let us never have any issues or anything in that manner. And we learn more on this topic to help us understand it. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay, if there's any other questions, don't hesitate to let me know. And have a great term here, guys.